What is up, everybody? Solomon here. Super excited to be at Consensus 2024, talking to all sorts of builders and ecosystems across Web3. Today, we have the honor of interviewing Min. She is the EVP of Ecosystem Growth within Algorand. Min, if you could just give us an overview, a little bit more into your role, and a little bit about the Algorand ecosystem as we get kicked off here.
Yeah, for sure. So as you said, I lead ecosystem growth at the foundation. So that's really looking after how do we get more builders to come and build on Algorand? How do we help these projects that are building be more successful? What can we do to extend their reach, bring more people in, all that stuff. So it's a little bit of everything. And then we're also focused in a couple of geographic areas. So India, for example, is an area where we're doing a lot of work and growing a very vibrant ecosystem there. Nigeria is another area that we have some fun stuff happening as well. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything. And how do we get more people build on Algorand?
Yeah, think about the state of the industry too, because it's consistently innovating, consistently evolving. Algorand as an ecosystem is consistently innovating and evolving.
Yeah.
How has that kind of transition, that evolution kind of looked like from your standpoint within the ecosystem?
Well, so I've been at the foundation now for a year and a half, and over that period of time, the ecosystem has shifted. But I will say we have your traditional, the DeFi's, the NFTs, and all the cool projects. But we've also been really early at this, real world asset aspect of it. We have projects that have been tokenizing assets on our platform since, 2022, I think. So AgriToken, Lofty, et cetera. So even though that seems trendy now, I do see more and more of our projects kind of expanding in that space and really building out the business model for it, to be honest, right? It's not just let's tokenize an asset. Let's figure out after you tokenize, what's the market that you have? Where is the liquidity coming from? Who are the users? All that stuff I feel very fortunate for a lot of our projects that have gotten an early head start on.
I think one of the interesting things for me is had the opportunity to go to Python USA, which was in Pittsburgh.
Yes, you were at PyCon.
I was at PyCon, and it was really cool to see the tons of builders out there that are using Python as canon. Algorand just shifted to Python as canon language as well for coding.
That's right.
Walk us through that a little bit. That's really interesting, and I feel like you probably have a really interesting insight on what's the market opportunity as far as
Yeah, well, the market opportunity of Python developers is 10 million.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that really made a ton of sense. So as I was saying, one of the things that's really core to ecosystem growth is getting developers to come build. And one of the things that's really important for developers is making it easy for them to build. And so, of course, previously we had PyTeal, and Teal is our sort of language. It's a new language for anybody wanting to build. When John Woods, our CTO, first came on, he's like, the number one thing we got to do is dev tools. So we launched AlgoKit, and then he goes, the number two thing we have to do after AlgoKit is we got to figure out a way to get all these Python developers building on Algorand. So, we, with the launch of AlgoKit 2.0, PyCon was one of the first places that we went to really go after and have these conversations with Python developers. And it was fabulous. I mean, I wasn't there, you were there, but everything I've heard from that experience was that there was so much interest. We were the only blockchain protocol there at PyCon. So we got a lot of people, kind of developers, just very curious. I mean, the fact that you can build natively in Python and have that smart contract be built on Algorand is it's fabulous. I mean, I think in terms of the market opportunities there, Python has a huge following in the AI space, right? It also is very big with data scientists. And so I think it can be in financial services as well. So we see it sort of as a really nice way to introduce a lot more developers across all these different ecosystems to just come check out Algorand.
Yeah, I think artificial intelligence, Internet of Things with Python, machine learning. It's really interesting. And as you mentioned, you guys were the first layer one that has natively adopted Python as canon, which I think is really cool. When you look at other milestones that throughout the ecosystem, I know later this year introducing aspects for validators. Can you maybe walk us through what that's going to look like and how that's going to change the experience for builders?
I think you're talking about the consensus incentivizations, right? Yeah, I mean, that is going to be a pretty big shift and a very exciting one for us as an ecosystem. So previous to this change, you don't get compensated for running a node or, participating in consensus. And we think, that has worked really well. But really, by providing incentives to node validators, it just changes the game on how you think about the security of the network, the distribution of the network. I think that's just going to really make us even more secure and more distributed. And we're super psyched for that.
Yeah, when you think about pulse of the industry as well, I know we touched on kind of evolution of Algorand, but you see kind of the evolution and the pulse of this industry kind of shifting year over year over year. We joke sometimes, I feel like we've almost become desensitized to the amount of real world adoption occurring. Like if we were to look back 3 or 4 years ago, even one of these kind of initiatives going live would have driven like 6 months worth of content for a lot of people. Touch base on that a little bit. I mean, we're starting to see like regulators, senators, congressmen starting to talk more about digital assets and the need to, cultivate innovation in the United States. What is your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, it's all coming together, right? Slowly, one by one, the regulation, the adoption from the user's perspective, the sophistication of the developers and the founders. It's all slowly. I mean, it's like, it's a process. And to your point, we tend to forget. But, we're super psyched because we have, to your point around like, we sometimes miss how much progress we've made. I mean, TravelX, which is the company that's issuing airline tickets on NFTs, they've been issuing millions of tickets already. And that's over the past 6 months, right? I mean, we've come such a long way. Lofty, which is that tokenization real estate platform, they now have over 170 properties on, right? They have like tens of millions of dollars locked into these properties. That just shows the real, like, you and I can be buying this, right? And I think we forget as an ecosystem, I'm psyched when these projects are able to kind of, or not even projects, when these startups, these companies are really able to get the right traction there is. And we're as a network, we're doing tens of millions of transactions, a month. And hundreds of millions of transactions a month, right? We were doing 10. That's the whole point. We forget how much we've come. We were doing 10 million, 20 million transactions a month. Now we're over 150 million and 200 million transactions a month. That just shows you the pace that we're moving.
And I think it's going to be interesting to watch too. You mentioned the focus on AlgoKit 2.0 and really kind of building out those seamless developer tools. I mean, we're going to get to a point in time where you don't have to be a tech startup or have all of this kind of infrastructure built out from a company standpoint to launch or to transition your real world business onto a blockchain or into Web3. I mean, talk about, I guess, what go ahead. Yeah.
Totally. It's all about that, right? Because we talk all about the blockchain, Web3, because that's where we come from.
Yeah.
But the real world, they're at Web2. They just want to make things work. And so absolutely, one of the things that Python really allows us to do is to you don't need to start a whole crypto project from the ground up. You can think about what you've built at, I used to work at Lehman Brothers, no longer around. But you can think about when you were working at Lehman Brothers and figure out a way to inject a little bit of blockchain into that. And that is the transition that we're seeing, the Web 2 to Web 3 transition that I think we will be seeing very, very soon. I can't believe I just talked about Lehman Brothers.
I'll say kind of last but not least in leading us out here, what are you most excited about within the Algorand ecosystem and maybe for the blockchain space as a whole?
Well, I mean, what I'm most excited about, of course, is Decipher, which is happening June 26th to 28th, which is our celebration of our builders. It's kind of our builders retreat. You guys should come if you're not. Yeah, okay, good. And then what am I excited about?
The industry as a whole, blockchain as a whole.
I feel like we're also at the cusp where the user experience is really starting to get to where it needs to get to for user adoption, for more wide adoption. And I come at it from, I also work on the Para wallet, and I work with the Para team very closely, which is our biggest wallet. And all we think about is how do we make it super easy for a non-crypto native person to come and check out the Algorand ecosystem. And I think that that's what a lot of people are thinking about these days, how do we make it super easy, that UX, that UI, the design elements. I feel like we're starting to get there. And that's your entree into all things crypto, right? All the dApps that are being built there. So I'm very excited about where we go there from a user experience and UI perspective as an industry.
100%. Well, man, I want to say, thank you so much. It's been such an honor to be able to interview you guys today. And Min is, again, EVP of ecosystem growth within the Algorand Foundation. first layer 1 blockchain to go Python natively as Cana, which is super cool. And really excited to see all the initiatives coming out of the ecosystem soon. It's been such an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's fun. Thanks.